It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City, Utah, folks. What a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56. Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Carry on the top. Who's the king of violence?
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
80 seconds remaining.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top.
And welcome in to InGame Live Primetime on a terrific Tuesday. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan for the next 2 glorious hours, taking you right up until 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Wow, he turns turncoat. One day he's got the Red Sox outfit on, the next day he shocks me and turns turncoat. Wow. It doesn't take long. What's going on? We got a big show. We got Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors. We got Steve Merrill, Wager Talk joining us. Baseball, football, little WNBA, same game parlays, Black Clouds, which, by the way, both won yesterday. We cashed our tickets with those. So thank you very much. But I get, I'm all in a good mood, and I get this first seconds of the show. Wow.
All right.
Wow.
Let's explain it. First of all, good to see you. And, the haircut looks great. Everything's good. The Red Sox just can't beat the Astros. I mean, I came on in the City Connect yesterday rooting. I tried to make you feel at home and bring back the good luck and everything. And the bullpen comes in and blows the game. And then, odds makers come up with a number today that's cheaper than yesterday. Blanco, small favorite. It's one of those situations where I'm like, look, this is like gambling, right? Like one day you're on this team, one day you're against this team. So nothing personal, Wetzel, just showing up to do the show and, brought it up and we'll talk about it, in a minute. But Tigers Cubs, first one out of the gate. What do you think about this? These American League, National League matchups between teams that are out of it and Cubs fans, despite the fact that they're playing better. Wetzel, you agree with me the Cubs are out of it, right? Like they're out of it.
Yeah. Okay. They're done.
Done.
Yeah.
Done. Any opinion here?
And by the way, they were one of my over team total. I bought into them at the beginning of the year. Yeah, just didn't happen. So this Faedo guy here for the Tigers, 5-3. He's actually not bad. Neither is Assad. I kind of like the under, 6-0 under in this guy's last 6 starts for the Tigers. Neither team could hit their way out of a paper bag. Rather than pick a side on who's going to win between these two pathetic teams, why don't we just go under in this game?
Better. Okay, I like that.
Right?
I think that's a better way to go. Some of these games, again, when the spreads are this close and the money lines are, you look at it and you go, wow, I'm not really sure how the Cubs can be a significant favorite like this. All right, we'll go that route. Total. Rangers Buccos. My Buccos just ripped the heart out again. Gave us hope yesterday. We're doing the show. They're down 3-0 early, get down 4-0, come back, hit a 3-run bomb. Game finishes not only like that, all the unders cashed. The Pirates lose. Rinse and repeat. I mean, team trends, everything indicates Pirates lose 8 straight road games. Do you want the Rangers 7-16 in their last 23? Do you want the Rangers tonight?
Yeah, this is like pick your poison, right? Pirates 2-12 their last 14 games too. And the thought of them bouncing back 1-11 after their last 12 losses. So they've been on. Well, it's been a long losing streak. That encompasses like a lot of these trends here, but. You can't do it, right? I do like Keller. He's one of their better pitchers, as you know, obviously. This Bradford dude is 4-0. That they won his starts. Maybe a last gasp for the Rangers at home -142. The saying. Winners bet with streaks, losers bet against streaks. 8 straight road games. Pittsburgh showing really no life. It wouldn't take that much convincing for me to take Texas -140 or so at home.
Okay. I figured you might say
that. Yeah.
I just will bet under again. I mean, let's hope Keller pitches good. And, Pirates bats are done. I mean, McCutchen, IL, O'Neal Cruz beat up. The lineups, this is just – it's the beginning of the bad part of the season for the Pirates. And so, I don't know. I looked through it a little bit with rose-colored glasses, so to say, or actually my glasses are a little blue tint. But, I'm not excited about taking the Pirates. I don't want to do that. I'm more excited about taking a team like the Royals. I mean, the smart projection had the Pirates at a big percentage. I'm surprised it's not a bigger percentage for the Royals tonight. You got Reagan's on the mound against the Angels. Make a cake. You got anything good for the Angels tonight? No?
Yeah, I got 2 nuggets for you if you want to put your money on the Angels on an underdog, right? One, they won Tyler Anderson's last 6 road starts.
Okay.
Which is pretty good. So they've shown he's the halfway decent pitcher, probably their best pitcher at 9-11, right? And Kansas said this is a goofy one. That's a legit one. This is a goofy one. Kansas City, for whatever reason, maybe they're too giddy on Mondays. Maybe they're looking forward too much to Wednesdays, but they're 1-9 their last 10 Tuesday games. Would you put your hard-earned American money on a trend like that? I mean, 1-9 is 1-9 for some. We're talking about a pretty good team here, right? 10 games or so over 500, and yet they're abysmal for some goofy reason on Tuesday. 1-9. Why fight it, right? So if you want the Angels, those are your 2 trends that you could put in your back pocket. What do you think?
I had to put on the listening glasses for that one just to make sure I heard it right. What? We're betting on what happened on Tuesdays? What are you, wimpy? I'll get a burger today and play you on Tuesday. I mean, for you guys that have no idea what I'm talking about, it's a reference to Popeye. It was a great cartoon and an unbelievable movie with Robin Williams, if you haven't seen it. Tuesday bets? What are you talking about? I just got off the show with K-Dub. He told me that FanDuel stopped Dinger Tuesdays. The promotion is done. Baseball season is officially over. No more Dinger Tuesdays the rest of the year.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. I was going to say bet Bobby Witt to hit a home run. There's no promo bet for that, but that might be a play tonight against the Angels. I don't know. Tuesday theories? I don't want to do that.
If you want to put, like I said, a couple shekels, I wouldn't. Yeah. I personally, I wouldn't. I won't say I haven't done goofy bets like that.
No,
we all have if you bet long enough, right? 1-9, right? Who wants to bet against that? But it's the Angels stink, and the Royals are playing well. They came through last night for us. They got the 2-run victory. So, I think Kansas City is the obvious
play.
How
about this one?
This next game. Go ahead.
This next game. You want a trend.
Yeah.
All right. They played 4 times this season. The Astros have beaten the Red Sox all 4 times, right? You know this. You've done the research.
Yep.
Astros.
Told you yesterday.
That you did, and I didn't listen. I tried to buck the trend. I wore the Red Sox stuff, and I've been blamed for the jinx. They're like, Dave, don't wear the Red Sox stuff again because they lose when you wear it. Okay, so guess what? I'll wear the Astros stuff and go Astros 36-23 since what, 2015 against the head-to-head against the Red Sox, 7 straight. Who's playing better than the Astros right now in the American League?
Nobody.
Not too many teams,
Nobody.
right? You see that number, I swear we just did the show a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and it was pick'em between the Astros and the Mariners to win the division. And now, if you see the division odds for the American League West, are you kidding me? It's a blowout. Minus 800. That's a nice price on the Astros tonight. That's pregame. That's got to be the play.
This team has won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, real quickly, 11 and 1 their last 12 games. So the most obvious question is, why then, Dave, is this game pick'em against 5-8 Nick Pivetta? I mean, that game is in Houston, not Boston. Yeah. But they can be playing on the moon the way the Astros have dominated. How in the heck are they only pick'em?
I don't know. There's two books right now that just made the Red Sox the favorite. I'm looking at my odds screen right now. Ugh. Two books. Listen, there's guys that like to bet against streaks. Good luck with that. Maybe they know that somebody's not playing. I don't know. I have no explanation for that. Zero.
Right? You watch the Red Sox win tonight. I'm telling you, Sox are going to win tonight. You wait and see.
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we arrive here in the Maverick Center, here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Folks, what a night. It is going to be historic indeed for the Kansas City 56. Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Harry on the top. Right hand from my boy, double jab. Who's the king of violence?
Combat fighting in its purest form. Bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
80 seconds remaining.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
All right, welcome back InGame Live, Primetime here on the grid. Just getting underway. Hour number one, Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan, until 10 p.m. Eastern time. And again, just back to the Red Sox game. They're underway. They got a leadoff double. That made the Red Sox favorites. But Astros 17-7 as well when Blanco pitches. 11-1 their last 12. Red Sox not necessarily scuffling, but we mentioned it. They never beat the Astros. 0-4 this year. Outscored like 28-14. 7 straight losses dating back to last year. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense for this game to be picked. I'm telling you, I'm not going to bet it, so it's not like I know. But I'm telling you, the Red Sox find a way to win tonight. Because that line just doesn't make any sense, right?
Sometimes lines don't make sense. Sometimes they win, sometimes they don't. I don't know. I think pricing the Astros right now is very difficult because you don't always get like blowout wins. They come from behind a lot. They're just one of those teams that just doesn't go away. And I think, in years past, it was like, well, are they really going to win the division? Like, it took them this long. A couple weeks ago, they were pick 'em with Seattle. On June 19th, they were 8 games back or something of Seattle. And now it's flipped. So I think there's a real slow, not acceptance, but a reticence, a hesitation to make them too big of a favorite against a team like the Red Sox. Look at the Red Sox road record, Scott. They're
It's good.
36,
Yeah, it's good.
27 on the road. They're one of the best teams in the American League on the road. So you have to take that into consideration when you make the number. I mean, this can't be higher than minus 130. But to be pick 'em, there's guys on the Red Sox. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it.
All right. Another lefty starter for Arizona tonight as they went up against the Miami Marlins. One of our favorite bets, bet against the Marlins with lefty pitches. I think it's 8-34, 8-35, something like that. I got it written down here. I'll check in a second. But it's 8 wins for Miami. 8-32. There you go. Yeah, there it is, right there in front of me. 8-30. That really is an amazing stat, right? I mean, not that they're great against righties, but that is like just that's Chicago White Sox when they face a lefty. So, and they're down again tonight, 3-1, bottom of the 6th inning.
We've had one of those trends. We discussed it on Bostonian versus the Book. Matt brought it up. I think that the Marlins games are 45-17-2 to the over in Florida. So you got a couple trends working today with this Diamondbacks and lefties.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it's one of the most weighted trends for the totals in a ballpark of anyone in baseball. And again, sometimes the things don't make sense sometimes, but it's one that we got to keep an eye on, because if that total sits a little bit low while it sits 3-1 in the 6th, although they got a couple guys on, if they score here, the game's going to go over the original total. But that might be a good in-game betting opportunity before the 7th if this thing drops another one. They're out of the 6th. So it's off the board right now. I think we'll come back up around 6.5, 3-1. If you like over 6.5, you'll be able to play it. It might be – no, it's not going to be 5.5. I don't think it'll be 7.5. It'll be 6.5 or 5.5 when it comes back up.
Boy, that is – yeah, I'm looking at there's a pretty good website, teamrankings.com, that I like.
Yep.
And you can put in all these little variables. And you're right. I don't know how I missed that one. 45-17-2 at home.
Yep.
Oh,
crazy.
That is amazing. There's no one in the ballpark. I mean, that's never really been known as like a great hitter's ballpark. I mean, nothing, pro or negative, but that's goofy.
It's not just them scoring. It's obviously them giving up a lot of runs, right? So to get that drastically over that much, weighted on that side, it's they're giving up runs, and obviously like bullpen's bad. Everything's way worse at home. I don't remember seeing one by like the end of August that was weighted that much more. I mean, that's almost 30 games over, over to under. Usually within 10, maybe 15 is, significant. So 30 and 20 with 8 pushes or something like that would be more realistic. That's a big difference.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll do this. How about this? I'll give you one guess. So they're the number 1 over team at home. I'll give you one guess who's the worst over-under team on the road.
So the biggest under team, you mean?
Yeah.
On the road? Let's see. Don't tell me it's the Pirates.
No, why would I be asking you this question? If Miami is the number 1, if Miami's the number
Arizona?
1 home, no, dopey, in Miami. I'm trying to give you a little correlation. At home, they're the best over team, but on the road, they're the, in essence, worst over team.
Well, that's just coincidence.
Which just emphasizes like what's going on in Miami. They're 12 games under. How do I say it? There's 12 more unders on the road than overs.
Right. Okay.
When they're on the road. So what is
right.
it? Do 25? What do we say? 25 more overs at home.
Yeah.
And then there are 12 more unders. So that's
Right.
a 37 game swing. How do you
So
now?
they give up
Again,
runs
is it
and
the
hit at
ballpark?
home, and they stink on the road. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
they're at home, so tonight we have to worry about the home one. You're bringing up trends. Put
I
that one in
know.
your back pocket for when they go on the road, dopey. Jeez.
Why would
What
you
are
think
you
I was
doing?
asking you? I was,
I had no idea why you
leading
were
you.
asking.
You'd be worse. What was that game show where you had we had the two people
Concentration?
talking?
Password?
No, they were password. Yeah, you forget you and password, man. You'd be lost.
I'm really good at that game. Listen,
Were you?
Vinny and
I
the
would be
boys have
lousy,
no idea what we're talking about. We're game show references that aren't on the air anymore.
I know they should be though.
They should
Password,
be. They were
great game.
Yeah, great.
Was that Art? No, Bill Cullen. I forget who was the host for that one. One of the classics, though, for sure.
Richard Dawson, maybe.
Richard Dawson? No, before him actually. So
Okay.
but that's weird. Number one over team, yet the worst over team at home, but the worst on the road. Weird.
We'll be back.
What has happened? What has transpired here at the First Bank Center here in Denver, Colorado? It wasn't just a big night of fights. It was a big night of memorable moments.
Conor McGregor with us here in Denver, Colorado. Good left hand from Rockhold. Right hand right back from Mike Perry.
Could I get a face-off with Conor McGregor, man?
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Folks, what a night. It is going to be historic indeed for Buchanan Senior 56. Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight.
Perry on the top. Right hand from Mike Perry. Double jab. Who's the king of violence?
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
Welcome back InGame Live, Primetime here on the grid. Scott Wetzel and Dave Sharapan. Just to pass along before we get to our SGP, Boston 3, Houston nothing. Still in the first inning. I told you. They were begging. They were begging for Astro money today.
Wait, what do you mean you were telling me? It's over? It's done?
It's done.
Astros can't win?
Can't win. They can be leading 3-0 and they're not going to win. I'm telling you right now, that's got the sucker line written all over. Although, I will say the Astros got first and third, nobody out, bottom of the inning.
So relax.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Hold that
to the same game here in a second. I got a text from a dear friend, the Shrew. He watches the show every night. Big fan of the same game parlay, the Black Call play tonight. He texted me and said, Alan Ludden hosted Password.
Yes, Alan Ludden.
How about that?
There you go.
How about that? We got producers behind the scenes at the joint. We got executive producers all over the place watching the show wherever you're at. The Shrew's out in Sacramento, California. Thank you, Shrew, because I wouldn't have remembered that. Wetzel, would you have remembered that?
No, I recognize the name, but I would not have recognized. Yeah, I wouldn't have come up with that. I would have come up Bill Cullen and some of the all-time greats, Alex Trebek and all those guys, Linkletter but I wouldn't have gotten him. But he's the one. Yeah, definitely.
Get to the same game part, people, please.
All right, we're on a roll here. A little SGP coming up big last night, winning. Thank you very much. Let's just see if we can make it two in a row with our SGP. All right, we're going to flip off San Francisco and the White Sox. We'll take our winnings and we'll move. I should know. Is that down or sideways or over from San Francisco? It's same state, so nearby.
South.
It's south. Yeah, I knew that. I was thinking Oakland. All right, yeah. So we're going to move south to Los Angeles, where the Dodgers are hosting the Seattle Mariners, who can't hit their way out of a paper bag. So we're going to grab the Dodgers minus 146. Walker Buehler on the hill. I know he's not in A form yet, but you know what? Him at minus 140 odds, 146. Depending on where you do your shopping, I will definitely take that. I'm going to go under 8.5. I told you that 9 yesterday was a complete gift. 8.5 to me is also a pretty good number as well because Seattle just doesn't hit. So let's go Dodgers under. We're going to use Buehler 5 strikeouts or more. His number's 5.5. We're going to lower it 1. We'll pay the premium of minus 180 just to have it there. Seattle struck out 10 times yesterday for Gavin Stone. Then we're going to get the 2 lefties since Seattle's throwing a righty. We'll use Ohtani to get a hit at minus 290, and then we'll use Freddie Freeman to get a hit at minus 250. Add it all up. Decent little payout. I was pleasantly surprised. Plus 634 it was when I put it in this afternoon. So Dodgers under, Buehler 5Ks, Ohtani and Freeman to get a hit. What do you think?
Which one gets you? I don't know which one gets you.
Maybe the under 8.5 just because the Dodgers win big. I don't think they will, but I do like Brian Wu a little bit more yesterday than the guy they got going today. But that would kind of maybe just the Dodgers explode for crazy amount of runs. So the 8.5. I don't like playing unders, but that to me would probably be the one. I think Ohtani gets a hit. Freeman will get a hit. The strikeout shouldn't be a problem. But Bryce Miller's got to limit the Dodger bats.
Yeah. The Buehler one, we got to make sure that he gets at least 5 innings. I think.
Yeah.
I'd like to get him through 5, just to give us the best chance, at the strikeout number. So does that say that the smart projection is on the Mariners? Is that right? Wow. I don't even understand that sometimes. Like, listen, this is not the night, I don't think. Although maybe it is with Buehler and not knowing how good he's going to be or how good he is. So, I don't know. Wetzel, I like it. I kind of dig the same game parlay tonight. Last night was good. Can you do it again? Back-to-back nights? Can you do it again?
Let's see. Let's roll the dice. Keep it on number 7. No sense taking a chip off the table now. Like I said, I think I don't know why I put 8.5. Yeah, because we had the under last night with it. So yeah, that would be the one I'm a little leery of. But I'd hate to have the Dodgers win 10-3 too, right? And win everything but that. Yeah. Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, coming up next.
What has happened? What has transpired here at the First Bank Center here in Denver, Colorado? It wasn't just a big night of fights. It was a big night of memorable moments.
an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we arrive here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Folks, what a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56. Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight.
Early on the top. Combat fighting in its purest form. Bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this thing all the way to the top now.
All right, welcome back. InGame Live, prime time here on the grid on a Tuesday evening. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan, looking at some baseball winners. We got a bunch of games going on. We got a few more that'll be starting in a little while. So why don't we check in with our good buddy, Jeff Dawson from EastCoastSportsInvestors.com. That's EastCoastSportsInvestors.com. What's going on, Jeff? How are you this Tuesday evening?
I'm doing great. Actually, Red Sox put up 3 in the first. A nice little field goal by Vinatieri. Hopefully we can find a way to hold off these Astros here that own us this year. Our back end right now is atrocious. Jansen last night. We're limping to the finish line like the last couple of years. They got us to the end of August. There won't be much playoff baseball run, it looks like, in September for the Fenway friendlies here.
Click refresh on your score apps or wherever you're watching the game.
3-3.
Astros. It's now 3-3. So, Mr. Wetzel, relax. All right. You said they can't lose, they can't win. What? Calm down, Jeffrey. Good to see you. All right. Wetzel
Good to see you,
overreacts all
Coach.
the time. All right. We don't want to overreact, but we're looking at the late games and we're going, what? What are you looking at tonight, at least initially? Dodgers, same game parlay for Wetzel. Padres win every night. I mean, you got to have something cooking for the late games, no?
Yeah, when you were going to fill up during break, I was telling Scott that I was on Seattle last night. You couldn't have asked for any more from Wu. Gave up 2 hits. They just can't hit. Left their bats at the tarmac. But in comes Buehler here. I think there's an overreaction here. I think that number's a little too high here, to be honest with you. I think there will be runs scored. I think Seattle will find a way to get to 4 or better tonight. I actually say if you had Seattle last night, at least take them first 5 here tonight. Hopefully you can get them jump-started. I don't know. I mean, that game scares me. But, again, I'm going back to the well like a kid. Put your hand on the stove. Sooner or later you're going to get burnt. So after tonight when they lose 8-0, I'll raise my hands.
All right. Do we put San Fran hosting the god-awful biggest waste of human flesh in baseball uniform Chicago White Sox? Do we put San Fran in all your parlays, no matter, or not really parlays, but with all your plays and make them parlays just because, the White Sox are so bad? Or are you staying away? Or are you actually putting money on the White Sox?
My Giants are on life support like my Red Sox. Great game last night. This is what they need. Ray's been pitching great. The only way I would fully get into this is if you were doing parlays. I would obviously do a money line parlay on the Giants tonight. If you were looking for a way to get into the game without a parlay, I would suggest run line, -1.5. Probably get that at -110 or 115. I don't do these often with the home team because they're only guaranteed the 24 outs. But I think as bad as Chicago is in the back end, and the Giants kind of score in bunches when they finally wake up and score, they usually come back the next day and follow it up. So I like the Giants here. I think they cover the 1.5.
Two-part question, JD. The American League Central is getting really interesting, and the Minnesota Twins are right there tonight. Ober, Perez, and they're right there. The odds tell you they're right there. The Royals just won't go away. The Guardians have been there all season. So first question is, you see the Central odds. Do you have an opinion as of right now? And again, it's only August 20th. But who's winning that division? And is tonight the night to fade Perez, who in Pittsburgh couldn't pitch, got to San Diego, and he's lights out? I mean, what do you think about either one of those things?
We are on the tonight -119 first 5 here, hoping to get in and get out. It is tough to win in San Diego, usually low-scoring games, almost like in Seattle, as Scott would always say. It's an autoplay. When you're in Seattle, you play the under. And the Padres score a bazillion runs on the road, but these games at home, 3-2, 4-3. I like the Twins first 5 here, -119. As for the division, All-Star break, we had the Twins coming back to win this division at around +230, 240. I think they catch the Guardians. I think, obviously, the Guardians get in, and I think the Royals will also get that wild card because, again, my Red Sox will not be there.
All right. Big matchup in Atlanta going on right now. 1-1 Phillies and Braves playing top of the 5th inning. And you got the pretty one in the Central as well. Milwaukee and St. Louis, 1-0 Brewers Cardinals, bottom 4 with Milwaukee on top. Did you have any thoughts on those games or any of the other games that are going on as we speak?
This afternoon, I'm watching my spreadsheet light up like a Christmas tree. I on that Phillies game, there was a big power move on the Phillies first 5. They went to -158 at the Circa. So we have Phillies first 5 minus the hook. We have Phillies full game minus a 1.5, and a little pizza and beer money on the Phillies over 4.5. I've never had a 3-piece nugget in 9.5 years at ECSI, and we dabbled 3 ways on the Phillies here. And you get the bases loaded, and you don't score. Again, the top of the order is anemic. I think they're going to score in the top of the 5th. I like the Phillies to win tonight for sure.
So right now it's a battle in Yankee Stadium. I got 3-3 here with the Guardians. We talked globally about the American League Central, and you've already buried the Red Sox, rightly so. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. Things are going really bad. That back end is, you're right, not good. But who is winning the American League East, JD? Because we got to get things lined up if we can for maybe some futures, some exactas, some different things. I know you're working on those things all the time with the ECSI crew and, investing in positions so you don't have to sweat October baseball, because October baseball has become the ultimate sweat the way the format's set up. Who's winning that division?
Well, Dave, I remember you sweating last year, the Circa exactas and squares. I mean, we were talking every other day, and hats off to that Arizona-Texas matchup last year. I was saying all along, when the Orioles were cruising and the Yankees were sleeping, the books were bullish. The Yankees were still favored to win that division. And I'm like, how? The Baltimore, on paper, top to bottom, was a better team. They were a healthier team. Yet here come the Yankees, 2 games back, still favored. So I think the books got it right. I think the Yankees win the East. I think Baltimore will end up being one of the wild cards. I think that's the way it's going to stay. I mean, you start the game today with Soto and Judge with a homer. I think in the playoffs, especially those tight scoring games. So it will be the big innings and who's got, a better 1-2 punch than Judge and Soto. And they're just going to have to piecemeal the front end. Heel left the game today. I don't know what his injury is. But again, it will be the Yankees front end pitching versus everyone else trying to slow down, obviously, Soto and Judge.
Jeff, Dave and I are going to look at the AFC West football later on in the show. But are you drinking the Bo Nix over 5.5 Denver Broncos Kool-Aid? I think I am. What about you?
Sean's done a great job. Big Bo Nix fan, Auburn, Oregon. The question is his wide receivers. I mean, I don't see, DT, rest in peace. I don't see Rick Upchurch. I don't see who he's going to throw the ball to. And their defense is okay. I mean, how many times are we going to rely on Javonte Williams? I'll say under 5.5, Scott.
Wow. All right. Didn't take much to get to 6 wins, but under it is. Jeff Dawson, check out his website, eastcoastsportsinvestors.com. Jeff, great job as always, my friend. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
What has happened? What has transpired here at the First Bank Center here in Denver, Colorado? It wasn't just a big night of fights. It was a big night of memorable moments. Conor McGregor with us here in Denver, Colorado. Good left hand from Rockhold. Right hand right back from Mike Perry.
Could I get a face-off with Conor McGregor, man?
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City, Utah, folks. What a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56. Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Perry on the top. Who's the king of violence?
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Nookamania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
All right, welcome back. InGame Live, Primetime here on the grid. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan, and thanks to Jeff Dawson. Check out his site, eastcoastsportsinvestors.com. Getting some baseball nuggets from him and a little football thing as well. Dave and I will preview the AFC West a little bit later on. So, but he does like the under 5.5 Denver Broncos. We've done many over-unders here, Dave, including some baseball ones at the halfway mark, or at least the All-Star break anyway, and taking a look, we update these like once a week or so, just to kind of let people remind them about the S&W Corporation. So far, not bad, not over the top. I don't know if we might have one like probable loser, but we got mostly either more on the, okay, it's got to be a win, or we're still in the ballpark. So Cleveland still needs to go 20-18 the rest of the way. They basically played 500 baseball since the All-Star break, so I'm okay with that. Milwaukee needs to only go 17-21 the rest of the way, so that's pretty good. I don't, that's going to be a winner, right? St. Louis needs to go 22-16. They need to pick it up here a little bit. They have not played well since the break. Yeah. No. And then Texas is probably the one absolute loser. Although you never know, they would need to go 24-12. They would really need to turn it around. So that's they've not played well since the break. No. That's probably not going to happen. Right?
667 baseball. Yeah, that one's going to be tough.
Yeah. So, but if we can go 3-1, that's not too bad. Like I said, I'm confident still in Cleveland. I'm really confident in Milwaukee, and then St. Louis. St. Louis will be the one where do we go 2-2 or do we go 3-1? Can we get the Cardinals to go on just a little bit of a run here? So, our unders though all look halfway decent. For the Phillies, Mets, and Mariners, the Mets probably have the best chance of not making us a winner, but they would need to go 18-19. Now we need them to lose here, so. They're basically 500 baseball, and they're losing big tonight. They're going to lose tonight. So they would need to go 18-18 the rest of the way in order for them to go over. I don't think they're going 18-18. With the majority of their games on the road, I'm okay with that one. Philadelphia's all but in. They would need to go 28-10 the rest of the way in order to go over.
I don't think that's got to worry about that one. No,
yeah.
The best thing that can happen is like they sweep Atlanta this week and kind of cure the
really
division. Not and secure the 1 or the 2 spot. I don't think we'd have to worry about that. I think that one sounds good to me.
Yeah, and then Seattle, we need to go 23-13 the rest of the way in order to go over. I don't think that's happening. So
I don't think that's happening either. That's good. Some 2 unders. Did you get it or not? I feel like you're like Mr. Miyagi trying to catch it. Just get it.
Yeah, I got to fly in the studio here.
Zoom. I thought you were waving at me again because the Astros might score again. No, that's not why you're waving. What?
No. So what do you think? Out of those 8 or 7, I think at worst we go 4-3. We're going to win Philadelphia. So. We're going to win Seattle. We're going to win Milwaukee. I mean, I think those are 3. Milwaukee, I suppose it's 17-21. So if we could sneak 1 or 2, excuse me, out of the other ones, we go 5-2.
I think we'll win the Cleveland one too. I mean, there's a shot to go 5-2. The S&W Corporation gets together here, at least on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and. Maybe on Fridays and stuff. We'll keep doing this stuff. Yeah, so that's good. That's nothing wrong with that. 4-3 is okay, but 5-2 is great. You go 5-2 in this stuff with nice prices, we're making money. So I like it. That's good. That's
okay.
The Phillies got Braves got a runner at second. Wheeler just got another strikeout. Lopez has 10 Ks through 5.
Wow,
he is dealing tonight. 10 Ks through 5. The Braves are playing these like playoff games. So far so good for them, for Braves fans, anybody that has them. This game's 1-1. They're out of the 5th. In-game number is down to 5.5. I still think it goes under that. I still think it goes under 5.5. In-game. There's your play.
Got a tweet or a text or whatever it is, a Twitter tweet from our LL Mikey P. He's got 3 legs of a four-leg parlay that's going to pay 11.5 to 1. Last leg that he needs, under first inning, half a run, Dodgers Mariners. Do you hedge? Or do you let it roll and pick up an almost 12 to 1, 11.73? So we'll just say 11.5, 11.5 to 1 parlay. I'm a hedger.
So
no matter how obvious
price?
It looks, I'm hedging.
What's the price?
11
to 1. No, so what's the price on the yes? Just bet that there is going to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, on the over, you mean? In the first inning. Yeah. Basically, it's over under.
Under is minus 113 on his parlay ticket, so the
okay,
over's got to be
probably
about the same.
over. Yeah, about the same. So yeah, what's wrong with laying 22? I mean, if you bet the parlay for $10 to win
Right.
110, 11 to 1, 12 to 1, 120, why wouldn't you bet $22? I mean, yeah, you could completely hedge it out and make a guaranteed amount. But if you still like the original bet, I mean, do something for your time so you don't lose, right? I mean, makes sense. Bet $22 to win 20. So you make 10 or you make 100. I mean, you could hedge it out very simply like that. That's, listen, I know guys that would kill for that position, and max it out, bet $50. So no matter what happens, you win 50. I mean, you've risked 60.
That's what I would do.
Right. So you could do that. It's up to you.
Yeah. I will say that's one bet day that I don't do, but I kind of wish I did, because there's got to be days where just like the over-under in first inning. Either do over or under, doesn't matter, but just do pick four teams, and there's got to be a day where the under comes in like 11-1 or 10-1. I mean, I bet that it goes in streaks. I would think that would be easy to hit.
It is. It's streaky, but it's not easy to hit. But I don't know. Nothing. You can't apply something every day, like something like that. It's kind of random.
Right. All right. Close out hour number one next here on the Grid.
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City, Utah, folks. What a night it is going to be. Historic indeed for BKFC 56. Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Harry on the top. Who's the king of violence?
Combat fighting in its purest form. Bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Primetime here on the Grid. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan, as we check out some baseball. Going to get to some WNBA play. The Connecticut Sun, real quickly, before we get to the Black Cloud. What were they, 12, 13 or so point favorite, home favorite against the god-awful Sparks, actually down to 59-57. Little WNBA action with 3 minutes left at Pick'em now. Are the Connecticut Sun really going to lose to the worst team in the league at home? I think I'm going to play the Connecticut Sun. Final 3 minutes. I think that's, we don't concentrate too much on the WNBA, but I follow it a little bit. I know you do too, Dave. So
Yep.
Connecticut's got to pull away, right? Final 3.5 minutes. I mean, it's the LA Sparks, for goodness sakes.
I'm going to look right now, see if I can do it. I'm not trying to stay focused because we got this. I love this. This is everybody's favorite segment. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Get to it.
Absolute favorite. You check that out. By the way, Liberty up 20, laying 11.5 tonight. Gave that out to the boys on the podcast. Nice little winner tonight, boys. All right, speaking of winners, gave out a winner last night with our Black Cloud play of the day. Let's see if we can make it 2 in a row, shall we? Yes. And you know the saying, greatest sports axiom of all time. Winners bet with streaks, losers bet against streaks. There is no reason in the world to not continue to pound away against the god-awful, pathetic Chicago White Sox. So out to San Francisco we go with our Black Cloud play of the day, which means whatever your normal bet is, double it, triple it. There's no way they could lose this play. It is San Francisco laying a 1.5, minus 118. Got to lay the 1.5 versus the minus 250 or so. We'll take our chances. White Sox are losing every single game, and mostly by 2 or more runs, to be honest with you. Why tonight? White Sox got a lefty pitching, the Giants got a lefty pitching. Robbie Ray, he's pitching well. White Sox 3-19 their last 22 games against the lefty on the road. They're 1-59 last 60 games when the opponents score 4 runs or more. The Giants at home are going to score 4. You heard Jeff tell us that before. They're 12-52 on the road. San Fran's 10 games over 500 at home. They're battling for a playoff spot, and they get their. I didn't know that their closer was out last night because they had used them up over the weekend. They get their closer back, so he's available, so don't have to sweat out the 9th inning like we did last night. It's just don't make this stuff harder than it has to be, folks. White Sox stink. Giants, good enough. Lay the 1.5. Double your play as the Giants get a nice little, maybe 6-1, 6-2, 7-2 win. We really didn't have to sweat it out last night, except for Yastrzemski grounded into a bases-loaded inning-ending double play in the 7th inning. Otherwise, they would have been leading like 7-8-1. But anyway, they won 5-3. We'll take it.
Yeah, that's I was hesitant last night. I'll ride with you tonight. I mean, I was worried, and you texted me late last night. I couldn't believe you were still up, and you're like, this shouldn't have been that big of a sweat. It was 5-3, and, you said you were worried. Not worried, but you're not worried tonight. Ride it again. I was trying to bet this Sun. I couldn't do it. By the time I tried to bet it, it's now 62-59. It looks like 249 left. The money line is minus 1,200. It's minus 1,200. So we're ahead of the curve. As I was with a 3-point lead, minus 1,200. So I don't even know what that was. But, I didn't get the bet in. So you got to be fast with the in-game. So
you do.
Try my best.
FanDuel's got it at minus 2,000 now. They have it as 62.59. It can't be a 3-point game, right? Minus 2,000 in a 3-point game with 2.5 minutes left. They got to be like up by 6 or 7, not just 3. That's what they got. Right? I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. By the way, have you checked the Red Sox score recently? Have you checked it? I'm afraid. I know it's going to be the Astros.
Check it.
Right?
Check it for the people. Check it. Just check it. Take a look.
Survey said 4-3.
I mean, it wasn't that long ago. You said it was done.
They can't
it was
beat
over.
Houston.
Was it?
They can't. I knew it. You
didn't know it. You said they were going to win. It's over.
That's before Houston, got to bat. I thought the game ended after a half an inning. If Red Sox were up 3-0, I thought the game was over. I thought they called it. No?
No, we'll be back.
What has happened? What has transpired here at the First Bank Center here in Denver, Colorado. It wasn't just a big night of fights. It was a big night of memorable moments.
Conor McGregor with us here in Denver, Colorado. Good left hand from Rockhold. Right hand right back from Mike Perry.
Could I get a face-off with Conor McGregor, man?
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City, Utah, folks. What a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56. Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight.
Perry on the top. Right hand from Mike Perry. Double jab. Who's the king of violence?
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
And welcome back in Game Live, prime time here on the grid. Scott Wetzel and Dave Sharapan for another hour, right up until 10 p.m. Eastern time. We got baseball, we got WNBA. We're going to preview the AFC West, see if we can find some over-under winners before we are through for the full hour. And then we're checking on, obviously, what's going on with everything else that we have to talk and, most importantly, bet about. So, we talked hour number one, Dave, about how, Miami Marlin games are just like an automatic over at home, right? 3-1, yep. Bottom of the ninth inning, 2 out. Looks like that game was going under despite them being at home. So we put the jinx on that one.
It was 3-1 in the top of the sixth, and it's all goose egg since. Pretty crazy. Yeah. But, that happens. Just like, Guardians and Yankees tied 3-3. Rockies are leading the Nationals on the road 3-1. Nobody saw that one coming. Orioles touchdown over the Mets 7-1. Reds trailing 10-2 against the Blue Jays. Yikes. Ozuna just hit a home run for the Braves, so they're up 2-1. That's another one. I think we could, under 5.5. Under original number was good, but under 5.5 might be in jeopardy. Yeah.
Yeah, that Braves team is like that. You talk about another automatic play, boy. They're like 20-plus games more unders than overs this year. They're just between them and I think it's Houston. Both are just like wacky unders, just wacky unders. So a lot of people supposedly out of Philadelphia Phillies, according to Jeff today, but they didn't win the first 5. And right now they're losing the game outright 2-1. Kind of interesting. I told you, Zach Wheeler, I'm not a big fan of him. He's not lousy, don't get me wrong. I'm just not a big fan of his for some reason.
I bet he's not a big fan of you either. Just while we're here, right?
I guess.
We got people that are big fans of you. We got people that are big fans of Wheeler, and that, maybe they're both. That would be pretty good. Look, he's got to be the horse, and he is going to be the horse. So you got to get those Mets days out of your mind. And if you're going to be on the Phillies in the postseason, you'll be on Wheeler at some point. So you don't have to be a fan to bet him. We'll see. It's not over yet. He can still win the Cy Young, despite the fact that those odds will tell you that he can't. I can't believe that Sale is that big of a favorite in the Cy Young market.
I can't believe that either. That really is like, okay, you want to make him the favorite. I get that, but why would he be that big of a favorite? He's not on a first-place team. He's on a team that's not guaranteed a playoff spot by any stretch.
Right.
Most of his wins, have really come first half of the season. He's continued to pitch well for the most part, but he's not getting the W's. He had 10 wins in May, for goodness sakes, early June. So I'm happy. I got him at 18-1. I told you that, right? But I don't know if I'd make him that much of a prohibitive favorite. If it stays this way, I will definitely hedge a little bit with my tickets, in September and see who kind of emerges. You don't want to hedge too early
now
because
just to lock up some wheeling money. It's a plus. I mean, if he loses tonight, it's going to be bigger plus.
Yeah, then I don't have to. Why didn't I could have hedged on Skeens last month, right? Then that's the worthless ticket now. So I bet on Wheeler now, and then he loses, 2 or 3 more games, and then it's a worthless ticket. So let me get to September, and if it stays this way, then I'll hedge, because now there's no chance of these guys, losing 2, 3, 4 games. They are what they are. So, but that tells me also
Sale losing 2 or 3 games. What if Sale loses 2 or 3 games?
That's
right.
True. But this is one thing I've come to learn in gambling. When it comes to these awards, the boys in Vegas are not wrong. Why is that, Scott?
Wow. Really?
Well, because there's only so many voters. There's 30 voters that vote for the National League, 2 from each National League city. And, it doesn't take hard to figure out who they are. You just Google them, and they'll tell you who's voting. So something tells me the boys in Vegas pick up the phone, and they call these guys, and they say, nothing for nothing. Who you leaning towards, And I think these guys either get paid for their thoughts, or they just say, well, I'm thinking Chris Sale, tell you the truth. And they build that into their odds. I don't doubt for a second that actually happens. So I would not buck those type of numbers. Other numbers, over-unders and this and that and, whatever you think is, But when it comes to their 30 voters and they're putting odds that are overwhelmingly in favor of Sale, I guarantee you they reached out to those guys and they said Sale.
I don't think so. I've been in places in Vegas. It sounds like a really good story, but nah.
Wouldn't you do that? Wouldn't that be a smart thing to do?
Well,
you know why it reminds me? Yeah. You know why? Because when I was working in college many moons ago, right, we would have the local Louis Lips give us a call and say, hey, you cover this, Southern Illinois I went to. You cover the Salukis basketball. They would call up and say, who's hurt and who's playing? And, they would pump us for information. We're dopes, right? 17, 18 years old. Oh, yeah, this guy stinks. He's not playing. He's hurt, So if they did it back then like that, why wouldn't they do it for this?
It's a little harder to get through and say who you were. I mean, it was a lot easier to just dial the phone up, Now, maybe somebody does, but I would put it the better. Some bettors to be a little more favored to get that number and get in touch with somebody than the books. The books have 100 million things to do. And calling a guy who may or may not be voting for Chris Sale to win the National League Cy Young, really not on the agenda. I'm just saying, don't give the guys in Vegas too much credit. They're good at the jobs. Some are really good at the jobs. And some are just doing a job. So hold on, and a lot of these guys doing this job are doing it overseas. I mean, a lot of the places that we look at the lines, it's outsourced. It's a computer. It's overseas. It's in Malta and different places. It's not all the things that it used to be. You had to work to get advantages before, and now there's a lot of bad numbers. There's a lot of misses. There's a lot of mistakes.
All right. Would you bet the Phillies right now? Speaking of Braves and Phillies, then plus 265, top of the 7th inning. That's a nice fat number. 265 with 3 at bats left, only down a run.
Yeah,
That's not bad.
Maybe. I'm not doing it right now. I was really just trying to get that damn WNBA bet in. I really was just trying to get because there was time, and the Sun ended up winning 69-61 final. So called
there you
it.
go.
I mean, it was
Called
pick 'em, and then I don't think the Sparks scored again, and the number just ran away. So that was final. And the Liberty won 94-74, so they win by 20. Covered a nice number there. I don't know. I'm not in a hurry to bet the Phillies right now. This might not be their night.
Seattle, by the way, beat Washington 83-77. 160 points. The over-under, 161. Fudge.
You know what the spread was on that game, too? You know what the spread was?
6 or so? 6.5?
7.
Right? Wow.
7.
7.
How about that?
Oh,
that tip to the odds makers right there.
How
7
good are they?
and 161, and the game falls 7 and 160. Sometimes they get it right. They get it right. That's one of them ones everybody in the room would pat themselves on the back. Hey, who did that number? Vinny? Was that Vinny? Yep.
Not bad. Not bad at all. We go 1-1 with the podcast group.
What has happened? What has transpired here at the First Bank Center here in Denver, Colorado? It wasn't just a big night of fights. It was a big night of memorable moments.
Conor McGregor with us here in Denver, Colorado. Good left hand from Rockhold. Right hand right back from Mike Perry.
Can I get a face-off with Conor McGregor, man?
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Folks, what a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56. Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight.
Perry on the top. Right hand from Mike Perry. Double jab. Who's the king of violence? I am.
Combat fighting in its purest form. Bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
All right, welcome back in-game live, prime time here on the grid. Scott Wetzel and Dave Sharapan checking out some baseball, a little WNBA as well. One of our guys, D. Weezy, was watching us there and said he hopped on. They had the Sparks to start the game at 13.5, and then he rode Connecticut for a couple of in-game line winners. So, yeah, you got to dabble. You just keep your eye on different things and different ways if you have some knowledge to make some money with the boys in Vegas. And when it goes to your account, whether it's WNBA or NFL, it still is added to your account. So a winner is a winner. It doesn't. You really, Dave. You don't have to. You got to follow it to know that Connecticut was a monster double-digit favorite. But that's like a bettor's dream, right? I mean, dream scenario. a double-digit favorite at home, struggling a little bit, 3.5, 4 minutes left. Game's down to pick 'em 1, 2, 3.5 or so. You know they're going to come back and win. So that was a great.
Most of the time, they're going to come back and win.
Yes.
D Weezy's a friend of the show. He watches us all the time. He's a big fan of BVB. Has a BVB hat. He's holding it down down in the Carolinas. Yeah, so he got wagering down in North Carolina and has really followed, not only us here, but me and Peralt talking about the in-game stuff, how you can create your own middles and all these other things. Worked out really good. When he took a 13.5 on the dog and laid 6.5, 4.5, and 2.5, sweep the board. They all cover. That's a good night. It don't matter if it's baseball, football, basketball, hockey, whatever. Those things when they hit, that's a nice night. So hat tip D Weez. That's good news. So it's time. We got to talk about a little football because we're gonna have Merrill on later, and we'll have some football futures with him in addition to the baseball. But AFC West, I don't know. When I look at these odds, and I'm out here in Vegas, they just announced Minshew's going to be the starter. It's the Raiders, no chance. Broncos, no chance, despite Bo Nix hype. You're drinking the Bo Nix Kool-Aid. I had no idea you were drinking the Bo Nix Kool-Aid. What? Is it all Chiefs all day, all night, all division, or what?
It's funny. I don't have any issues really laying minus 240, 250 if I have to in a baseball game. But there's no guarantee. I've seen a ton of minus 240, 250s lose baseball games, right? Hockey, same thing all the time, right? But there's something about divisions because all the other divisions are so close. It's like, minus 240. Who wants to lay that? But, I mean, I was going to ask you, how can it be Kansas City, right? I mean, you laid it out. I think the Chargers would be the only one with Justin Herbert and Harbaugh there. But, boy, I don't know how good that Charger team is going to be. They lost a lot of weapons. Unless there's a bunch of talent there that we don't know about that emerges their first year. I could see them being in a struggle. I mean, how is Kansas City, outside of an injury, but you could say that about everything, how is Kansas City not winning that division? They've won the division, 7, 8 years in a row? I mean, minus 240 for someone like that, that's really not bad.
It's not bad at all, and especially when it becomes like last year, one of the best bets I think that I made was San Francisco to win their division because I thought it's a head-to-head bet against Seattle and kind of discounted the Cardinals and maybe, underestimated the Rams a little bit, but I didn't think they were serious contenders to win a division. I would argue the same thing for this one, right? It's the Chiefs head-to-head against the Chargers. You don't think the Chiefs are going to have a better record than the Chargers? I'd be very surprised if the Chiefs don't have a better record than the Chargers. When you look at this schedule and you got this guy, Patrick Mahomes, this guy, Kelsey, still the tight end, although he's getting older and he's got a lot of distractions and everything. Chiefs are the best team in the division, and it's not close. Now, the Chargers could be better. Herbert, likely to be ready to go, week one, despite the plantar fasciitis. And I don't know. Let's look at that. What does that schedule tell you? Is they going over or under their number?
I think they're going to go under. I like Chiefs probably over. I know they're really going to lose 6 times. I think their over or under is 10.5, 7 times, or 11.5. I like the Chargers under. I could see it being a little bit of a struggle. Yeah, Harbaugh wants to run the ball. Herbert's got this plantar fasciitis there, and that always comes back. You guarantee he's not going to play every single game. And like I said, they lost a lot of talent on that team. I could see them taking a step back. Not awful, but I don't know if they get to 9 wins. I don't know if they're a winning team. And I would bet the over on the Broncos.
Okay. Can the Broncos win more games than the Chiefs? Yes or no?
No.
Okay.
Definitely not.
Can the Raiders win more games than the Chiefs?
No. No.
Can the Chargers win more games than the Chiefs?
You know, if everything fell the right way, you know, maybe. But I no.
But
You
you
know,
see
but they
the
were
season
so
win
bad
number,
last year. Yeah.
right? They have. If the Chargers win more games than the Chiefs, the Chargers will have to win 11 games. Because I think the Chiefs, like you said, are 10-7 if things go bad, right? Like the way that schedule sets up, the worst. I mean, be very surprised to see them go 9-8. But so 10-7, that means the Chargers have to go 11-6 to beat you to win that division. So, and you ruled out the Raiders. I mean, when I look at the Raiders schedule, I see a lot more losses than wins. You know, I don't know, under 6.5. That's going to be close. I think it's 6 or 7. And Denver, I don't know. Why do you like Denver so much all of a sudden?
I like Bo Nix in college. It's funny, I hated him at Auburn, and it took me a long time for me to buy in at him in Oregon, but I did. And then, you know, I thought it was strange that his draft stock fell as much as it did. I think he's the most NFL-ready quarterback out of all the quarterbacks. I really do. You know, so, and their quarterback play has been pretty bad there in Denver, or mediocre anyway. So, yeah, I do. I like that. So, all right. Hour number 2 continues here on the Grid.
What has happened? What has transpired here at the First Bank Center here in Denver, Colorado? It wasn't just a big night of fights. It was a big night of memorable moments.
Conor McGregor with us here in Denver, Colorado. Good left hand from Rockhold. Right hand right back from Mike Perry.
Can I get a face-off with Conor McGregor, man?
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Folks, what a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56. Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight.
Early on the top. Right hand from Mike Perry. Double jab. Who's the king of violence?
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
All right, welcome back InGame Live, Primetime here on the Grid. Scott Wetzel and Dave Sharapan, joined in a little bit by Mr. Sherrill, who joins us from WagerTalk.com. We'll get his thoughts on a few of the things that are Steve Merrill. What is it, Sherrill?
Yep.
I combined the S into the Merrill, Sherrill. Steve Merrill.
Right,
Yeah.
I thought you were thinking about like one of the college girlfriends or something when you said that. I don't know. We were talking about
No,
college.
I was actually thinking Jackie Sherrill.
Jackie Sherrill, like kids, look him up. He's a coach at Pitt for a long time. Then went where?
Yeah,
Texas
A&M.
A&M, right? Yeah.
A&M.
Yeah. It was a big deal.
Speaking of Pitt,
Yeah.
How about your Pirates? We've I see neglected to bring that up. You don't want to put the jinx on them. Up 3-0 against the Texas Rangers.
I don't really want to talk about that. I didn't really want to talk about the Red Sox taking a 5-4 lead against the Astros.
I saw that too.
A lot of things happen. We go on the break, and we're talking about football. I'm watching these scores, and I'm going, "Wow, that was really quite the turn." And I don't want to jinx the Pirates. Pitching a gem, Mitch Keller again. This is good. So that's good. Tigers leading the Cubs 1-0 in the middle of the fifth, and the Angels and the Royals are tied up. So if we bet the Royals while they were down, there's one of your things. We're betting teams when they're down and the favorites, come back. So that's good. Did you want to talk about the Twins and the Padres tonight? Like, is that a play tonight? Because I don't understand this number. It's actually flipped a little bit towards the Twins. Perez has been nothing but outstanding after getting out of Pittsburgh and going to San Diego tonight. This looks painfully obvious to me that you play the Padres, does it not?
You would think, right? They're at home too, although they play their better ball on the road. This guy Bailey Ober, this poor guy got probably teased so much, right, when he was a kid. I mean, he didn't even give him a real first name, Bailey. With a last name of Ober. I mean, he must have been at the mercy of his buddies, right? But he's turned into a very good pitcher. 12-5. He's won his last, or at least the Twins have won his last 5 starts. Padres pretty good, though. 6 straight home wins. Here's the one that really kind of stands out with this Twinkies team, which has been their tag for a number of years, and it's coming through again. 3-14 their last 17 games on the road against winning teams, as you see there. They don't beat the good teams. They win at home, get them on the road against the upper echelon teams, and they just don't come through. So I'm going to put San Diego in that category. So we'll get Steve Merrill's thoughts from WagerTalk.com. Steve, Scott, and Dave, how are you on this Tuesday evening?
Doing well, boys. How are you all doing?
Good. We were talking Minnesota and San Diego. Go ahead, Dave. Fire away.
No. Go ahead. Take it. That's exactly what I was going to say. I was like, Twins small favorites tonight in San Diego against one of the hottest teams in baseball. What are we missing, Steve? I don't know what we're missing.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I actually had a strong best bet last night on San Diego run line for my clients over at WagerTalk.com. I stayed off this game tonight, Dave, just because I thought the better spot I do think was last night. And sometimes team regress a little bit after winning the first game. But yeah, Padres home dog. This is a team that's underperformed most of the season. Obviously, offensively, they're never as good at home. It's more of a pitcher-friendly park. And because of that, their numbers get skewed. But if you look at their road numbers this year, they've been a pretty good offensive team, and I think they remain underrated. So I don't disagree. It would be Padres or pass for me in this one as a home dog.
We're talking Minnesota there also, Steve. 3-14 last 17 games on the road against winning teams. It's just it just seems to be their MO. They just don't play well against the better teams on the road for some reason.
Yeah, and that's a stat I like to look at because, we're 100 and some games into the season. Baseball has 162 games, and, the stats do start to matter at some point. And I do like to look at records against winning teams just in general. And Minnesota right now, 3rd in their own division, by the way, and they're 9,500 against winning teams. Cleveland's 34-31. Minnesota's 29-38. But the Royals, who have the second best run differential in the American League, just 5 behind the Yankees, and 16 ahead or something ahead of the Orioles. Actually, no, I'll check it right now. It's actually 22 ahead of the Orioles. The Royals are only 27-35 against winning teams. So that's another reason why, my gut feeling tells me that Kansas City is probably not for real, even though their run differential has been fantastic.
Wow. That's probably why, right, that most people, tend to fade those AL Central teams and don't give them any respect or any kind of belief that they're going to really do well. So I will take a quick little break. We'll come back with I got our little buddy around here again. Quick little break. Steve Burrow, WagerTalk.com. We'll do some NFL, more baseball with him.
fire here at the Busch Bank Center here in Denver, Colorado. It wasn't just a big night of fights. It was a big night of memorable moments.
Conor McGregor with us here in Denver, Colorado. Good left hand from Rockhold. Right hand right back from Mike Perry.
Can I get a face-off with Conor McGregor, man?
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we are live here in the Maverick Center here in Salt Lake City, Utah, folks. What a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56. Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight.
Perry on the top. Right hand from Mike Perry. Double jab. Who's the king of violence?
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
80 seconds remaining.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, prime time here on the grid. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan, talking with Steve Merrill. WagerTalk.com. Check out his picks at WagerTalk.com. Little baseball. We'll get to some football stuff with him here in a bit, but we got a few more baseball games to break down. David, I haven't talked too much on Tampa Bay and Oakland. Devil Dogs, as I like to call them, coming off a nice home sweep of the Arizona Diamondbacks. They lose last night 3-0 to Oakland, Steve. And, the A's are actually, this is hard to believe, but they're actually 23-14. Their last 37 games. They turned into a halfway decent team, believe it or not. Basically pick them for this game. Where are you going, if anywhere, for Tampa Bay and Oakland?
Yeah, just a week ago, they had the second best record in the American League over like a 3-week span back to like right before the All-Star break. So you're right, Scott. This is not the Chicago White Sox, right? If you guys had told me before the season that somebody would be at 238, a win percentage of 30 and 96 in the American League, I think we all would have put some money. It was the Oakland A's, right? Not the Chicago White Sox. So the Oakland A's, soon to be the Sacramento A's, soon to be Dave Sharapan's Las Vegas A's, maybe at some point in the future.
Yeah.
Or respectable 54-71, Dave, 7-3 their last 10. And those are the kind of teams that make you money, obviously, when they're competitive, but they're considered, big dogs all the time. Tampa, meanwhile, has been the exact opposite this year. They've underachieved all season. Both the Astros and the Rays got off to those bad starts in April, bad bullpens. Houston turned things around fairly quickly. Tampa just really hasn't, and they're currently 500 ball club, a negative 52 run differential, guys. They should be 12 games below 500. They're 62-62, but at negative 52 runs, they should be 56-68. So you kind of have an underrated Oakland team and an overrated Tampa team. It ain't broke, don't fix it. I'd still lean towards the A's here.
There you go. All right. We got to ask, because we just talked about, before you came on, the AFC West and the Chiefs to win the division. I mean, it's minus 230, minus 240, depending on where you shop. Are they winning that division? Because the Raiders just named Minshew the starter. Bo Nix, Wetzel's drinking his Kool-Aid. He likes the Denver over 5.5 wins, so he's all over them. But, the Chargers got more questions than answers. This looks like a head-to-head bet with the Chargers that looks like way too easy to me. The Chiefs win the division?
Yes, they win the division. Whether it's a good bet or not, no. Two different things, right? Yeah, let's not forget the Chargers last year were 5-12, 1-5 in the divisional games. That surprised me even when I saw it because I didn't remember them being that bad last year. Because I do feel like the Chargers could win this division, Dave, and that's why 1-5 in the division last year was surprising when I was doing some research. It's funny you asked this because the Prez asked both Teddy Covers and me this on Wager Talk today earlier. He liked actually Jacksonville plus money in the South, and he goes, "Is it a good bet?" And my response was that, yeah, they could win the division, but it's never a good bet because the problem with these division futures, and Teddy brought it up too, he said they're not two-way bets, right? They're not yes-no bets. Now, some sports books do offer, yes-no bets, but most future markets in the NFL are just yes bets, which means the house odds, as you know, are really skewed. And then on top of that, you're tying your money up for 5 or 6 months, and you're not getting good odds normally, which is just a double whammy. For me to tie up a bet for 5 or 6 months, I need to get better than normal odds. Otherwise, I'll roll it over every 3 hours every night within my bankroll. So, yes, Kansas City wins this division, but I'm not laying 275.
Yeah. I mean, I tend to agree with stuff like that, Steve. That's why I always tell Dave, this would be like one of those bet where the real wise guy, really, that guy that does this for an absolute complete living and he's got no wife, no family, no life, and he's got the $10,000 to put aside and do that. Because I ask you this, what's a better chance of happening? Kansas City not winning the division at minus 250 or so, 230, or the San Francisco Giants losing to the White Sox, who are similar 240, 250 favorite tonight?
Yeah, well, first of all, the Chiefs winning the division is a better chance because you're talking about, 17 games, right? It's like a best-of-7 series in the NBA playoffs. The Celtics in March Madness probably would have lost to somebody because they go cold one night from 3, but when it's a best-of-7, they're going to have that 1 or 2 off games. They still win 4 out of 7. And also, the other thing I'll point out is that the good news about the Giant game is that you're getting your money back 3 hours later if you do lay the 240, right? You don't have to wait 6 months. So there's 2 different ways to look at it. The Chiefs' outcome is more likely, but the Giants might be the better bet still because you only have to wait 3 hours.
Go back to the Chiefs talk. If it's not the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, who in the AFC, at least start there, do you think is a team to look out for to win the Super Bowl?
How about this? I'll take AFC East versus the Chiefs. I'll take the AFC East. What would you give me? I guess it'd probably have to be minus money because I've got 3 live teams maybe right there as you see on the board.
Yeah.
Do you really believe in all those?
Jets or Dolphins to win the Super Bowl?
I don't believe in any of them, but the 3 of them together, I think maybe we have a fighting chance.
Right. What about Ravens?
Baltimore,
Ravens,
obviously, Dave, Baltimore is tempting, at 13-4 last year, but there's just something about Lamar Jackson that doesn't sit right with me in the playoffs. And I know he kind of got that, curse off his back a little bit last year, but I feel like they're a regular season darling that keeps underperforming. Cleveland went 11-6 last year. They were plus 30-some net points, 8-1 at home. Very good defense at time, especially at home, as we know. It sounds crazy that the Browns could make the Super Bowl. They've never done it in 50-some years, but that's a team on the rise. And, we've seen crazier things happen here in recent years in the NFL.
I'm starting to lean towards over 9.5. It's juiced a little bit, Steve, but with the Jets. I'm a Dolphin fan, but boy, you look at their schedule. Well, I think Topeka High could get 10 wins. I mean, they don't play outside of the opening of the season at San Francisco. There's no Chiefs, there's no Ravens, there's no Bengals, there's no Lions, there's no Cowboys, there's no Dallas. There's nobody on that schedule. So it's a big if, but, if Rodgers can stay healthy, I mean, I don't know how that team doesn't actually get 10 wins.
Well, and that's why I said give me the AFC East, because obviously we've got Buffalo. Right. I think Miami might be a little overrated. But, yeah, the Jets are the real wild card, no pun intended, in the entire AFC, in my opinion, because we just don't know what we're going to get with Rodgers, with that defense, if it could be a top-class defense. Dave, on the surface, Kansas City's tough. They gave up 294 points last year. Baltimore's the only team in the AFC that gave up less, yet we still think of Kansas City as an offensive team. But it's just never that easy in the NFL. You always want to take a contrarian view. Houston's a team that's going to be very interesting after going 10-7 last year. You got to figure maybe they're due for some regression. I just don't see that AFC South making much noise.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like the AFC is really, I think it's deeper as far as good teams. The NFC is really interesting too when you look at, like, the winner. Everybody's kind of advancing San Francisco, win a division, get a home game again, and maybe two, and the bye. But if it's not San Francisco in the NFC, Steve, any one of those teams jump out. I mean, there's a lot of buzz about the Atlanta Falcons recently.
Yeah. Yeah, and Atlanta's another one of those teams where I think they're minus money, right, to win the division. I just don't it seems like that's the pick there, but do we tie our money up for 6 months? So that's a real toss-up division. I think the Saints could be maybe the sleeper there if it's not Atlanta. San Francisco lost the Super Bowl, right? Teams that lose the Super Bowl half the time don't even make the playoffs. Now, it's very hard to imagine the 49ers don't make the playoffs this year, but we see this happen year after year. Something about that Super Bowl loser, about 50% of the time they fail to even make the postseason. I don't think that'll be the case here, but that's a reason I'd be very cautious with them. And let's not forget, the Detroit Lions really could have been in back-to-back Super Bowls the last couple of years, and that was where I was going with that Browns reference, right? They've never been in the Super Bowl. They're bottom losers all the time. We've seen them turn it around overnight. Could it be Cleveland and Detroit? What odds are you giving me for that Super Bowl matchup?
Wouldn't that be something? The two teams that haven't been in the Super Bowl have both finally get there.
That'd be fantastic.
All right. I guess that answers my last question, Ed, on how a Kansas City San Francisco parlay plus 119 odds to win their respective divisions won't cash. You just said it, Steve.
I don't know. Plus money, you got me tempted. I wouldn't bet against it.
There we go. Check them out. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. Thanks, Steve.
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, yeah. We'll be into this, yeah.
And we arrive here in the Maverick Center, here in Salt Lake City, Utah, folks. What a night. It is going to be historic indeed for BKFC 56. Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Harry on the top.
Combat fighting in its purest form, bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
80 seconds remaining.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
All right, welcome back. In-game live, prime time here on the grid. Scott Wetzel, Dave Sharapan. We'll get back to the baseball here in a second, but one last football note, Dave. How about that parlay? It's one of the things that FanDuel does allow. You can parlay these divisions. And while I agree, who wants to put money away, but hey, listen, a winner is a winner. That's what this is all about, whether it's today or whether it's, 4 months from now. How is it Kansas City winning the AFC West and Niners winning the NFC West ticket not going to cash? That pays plus 116 on FanDuel.
I don't think Kansas City's not winning that division. The San Francisco one is really interesting. I don't think Seattle's the team you got to worry about. I think it's the Rams. There's a lot of people that I respect and have been talking to that the Rams are going to have a much better season than season numbers would anticipate. And it's not the Cardinals. So I don't know. That parlay looks pretty good. I'm good with listen, if I feel really confident in something, I've seen guys do it. I mean, they will bet at minus 230. They'll give you 23,000 to win 10 and just say, hold my money. And in 3-4 months, they'll come pick it up. So I'm not saying it's always like that, but I mean, if you bet $23 to win 10 and forget about it, and then, the end of December comes or January 1st or whatever time that those division gets graded, it's nice little fine money type thing. So I don't know. Kansas City's not losing that division. That's
right.
The only way is if Patrick Mahomes get hurt, and Patrick Mahomes hasn't been hurt, and when he does get hurt, he comes back quick. I think San Francisco could even sustain an injury and still win a division, right?
Yeah. I don't think Stafford's going to be healthy. You're right. They would be the one. But he's 36 years old. He's being held out of practice already. He haven't played a game yet, and he's already banged up. God bless the guy. He's been through it all, right, between him and his wife and everything else. But I just don't think he's going to be healthy. So healthy, and I know you can say this about a lot of teams, right? But there are certain teams that there's a better risk. Jets with Aaron Rodgers, Rams with Matthew Stafford. You can't bet on all those, right? I mean, you just have to sometimes take a step back and say, I just don't think he's going to be healthy. So and that's why I would stay away from the Rams. But I'll do it with the Jets. But I'm looking for less things. I'm not thinking the Jets are going to win the Super Bowl, but I only need to get 10 wins with the Jets, and I can maybe get that with Tyrod Taylor. I don't know if you're going to get that with Jimmy G to win that division, who's the backup for the Rams. So
yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I saw a lot of Jimmy G here last year in person once when I went to the Steelers and Raiders game here in town in Vegas, and I just saw from body language, sideline, he was by himself. I mean, it didn't seem like he was jiving with the team, and I don't know. This might be his last stop in L.A., but he's going to look great in that uniform, and if I'm a Rams guy or got the Rams season win total over, I don't want to see Jimmy G on the field. I'll tell you that right now. I don't think that's gonna work. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fun to talk about these things. Are there anything the NFC South? Like, is there anything there for you? I really keep looking, and Merrill said it. I don't know. I don't think it's as easy as the Falcons minus 120 and just lay it. Why can't the Bucs or the Saints win that division?
Yeah, I agree. If anything stands out, it's to me that Carolina's going to stink again. So that would be the most okay, I'm most positive about one thing. Carolina's going to stink. They're not getting to 6 wins. If the Patriots aren't getting to 5, that team is not getting to 6. There's just I got to see it to believe it. I don't think a guy goes from Bryce Young to Joe Montana in 1 year. I mean, he was so bad last year, and that team was so bad. I like some of the moves they made in the offseason, but that's a big jump up. So, I kind of like Tampa Bay, and I kind of like the same. I mean, it's actually a pretty good division. Like, I think they've done what the AFC South has done. They went from a division, a bunch of bad teams, and whoever can get the 500, okay, you win the division, to now at least like a bunch of halfway decent teams. Like, the Falcons should be halfway decent now. Tampa Bay is halfway decent. The Saints, I bought in last year. I'm hesitant to buy in again, but I'm starting to. They should be halfway decent. They're not great. I don't think any one of those 3 teams will win the Super Bowl. But, they should be able to at least, do a halfway decent job and be competitive in a lot of these games.
You hear this discussion all the time in the book and on shows and all over the place, not just, here, but everywhere where there's content. So Bryce Young's going to take the step up and Carolina's going to be better. Like, some people will make that argument. In the reverse, in the AFC South, it's you hear C.J. Stroud, well, he's going to regress. There's going to be regression. And
right, yeah.
you look at the numbers, right? Like it's a second-year quarterback, and it's completely different. When he's good, everybody looks to knock him down. When he's bad, everybody's looking like he has to improve. He can't be like that again.
Yeah.
Which one are you buying, right? I mean, like it's the same. Yeah. It's the same old story. It's been the same old story for 20 years. I've been listening to the same stuff. And I can tell you this, odds makers aren't listening to that stuff. But the Texans' number would indicate that they're the favorite to win that division. The season wins number, though, doesn't back it up like that. Like they're not 10.5. And the other teams in the AFC South, is there a legitimate contender for the division other than the Texans in the AFC South?
Jacksonville. I can see Jacksonville bouncing back.
I like the Colts better than Jacksonville myself.
Do you? Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
I got to see something out of Anthony Richardson. I liked him in college. I thought he was going to do well. But I got to see a little more, from just the 4 games here. I got more faith. Mm-hmm. So, but again, you got 3 teams that were, heading into last year like all mediocre or at best, and now I think all 3 are actually be halfway decent. So it's hard not to like that Texans team, Dave. What, getting Diggs and getting the running back there from Cincinnati? What's his face?
Yeah.
I mean, they are loaded, right?
Yep.
Yeah. It's up to C.J. Stroud. All right, we'll close up shop next here on the Grid.
It's an incredible setup here, incredible matchmaking, incredible storytelling. Oh, you had to come here. All these fighters that step in here are warriors, and all have my respect. And I'm into this game, we'll be into this,
And we are live here in the Maverick Center, here in Salt Lake City, Utah. For what a night it is going to be. Historic indeed for BKFC 56. Whoever's the king of violence right here, this is going to be a great fight. Harry on the top. Right hand from my great double champion. Who's the king of violence?
Combat fighting in its purest form. Bare knuckle fighting in the city of angels.
30 seconds remaining.
We've got the biggest announcement in the BKFC history we're about to make, so let's make that announcement.
What's up, Knucklemania? The notorious Conor McGregor here. Ladies and gentlemen, the huge announcement that I have for you today. Conor McGregor, myself, and McGregor Sports and Entertainment is now an owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Welcome to the big leagues. David Feldman, baby, we did it.
He's now an owner of BKFC with us, and we're going to take this motherfucking thing all the way to the top now.
All right, welcome back to InGame Live, Primetime here on the Grid as we close up shop fast 2 hours. Still got the 5 minutes, 4.5, 5 minutes anyway. Just check out some of the baseball scores here. Little WNBA action, that is all done. But baseball-wise, Guards and Stankies tied at 3. That's been tied at 3 for a while. So just out of curiosity's sake, let's see if they give us the same thing they gave us last night and they do not, at least not right now. Last night we had tie games in the bottom of the ninth, and they gave us an over-under, which was rare, and it ended up 4-3. I think it was 3-3, as a matter of fact. And it ended up 4-3. Yeah, the Mets game, with the home run. Tonight they're not. You want to bet Cleveland and the Yankees ends up at least 5-3 or 5-4? I mean, you want to bet they get 2 runs? For some reason, they're not offering. Maybe they learned their lesson. I don't know. But I find that interesting, Dave.
Yeah, what I find interesting, Wetzel, is that the Red Sox took the lead 5-4, and the Astros tied at 5-5 in the bottom of the 5th. So we got 5-5 there. We got 3-3 in Yankee Stadium. And those are the only 2 games that are tied right now in all of baseball. Oh, well, 0-0 for the Rays and the A's, 0-0 for the Twins and the Padres, and 0-0 for the White Sox and the Giants. So West Coast, no score yet in any of it. I wanted to ask you, for the S&W Corporation, are we gonna lean, like, are we gonna take a shot with the Super Bowl? Are we gonna get futures in college football? Maybe pick a couple teams there, and then NFL football. I just don't know what we put it with the third leg. Do we pick some World Series? Right, we got to pick some World Series. Okay, all right.
Right.
We'll start to get the work on that.
As long as baseball is, the dopey baseball season will be ending right around when the football season ends. Not quite, but it sure does feel like it. Yeah, right. At baseball picking 3. Oof. I could pick 3 football. I could pick 3 college football for sure.
Right.
What would be your 3 baseball? Well, there's so many.
I don't know. We're going to wait. Well, we're going to wait until closer to the end. We got time.
I know, but just like, what are you thinking? Dodgers, Yankees, Astros, something like that. Well,
Yankees.
Just put the black cloud on them. Yeah,
that
would be like a reverse,
right? No,
Phillies?
We're not picking the Yankees.
Zach
Can we pick
Wheeler
somebody from
guy?
that right-hand column right there on that graphic? I mean, who would we pick on the right-hand column? You know, I'm out west. I might pick a couple West Coast teams. I'm just telling you.
Arizona do it again? I don't know. Well, San Diego, got to pick one. You can't pick 2. See, that's where you find out.
Dodgers, Padres, Diamondbacks. Those are our National League teams. Let's go in with an NL West team. Huh?
See, that's where it's nice to know the matchups.
We got to know the
Let's see who wins the division. Who gets the bye.
We'll wait. Yeah. Just start thinking about it. That's all. I wanted to put that out there. I wanted to let you know, and the watchers and the listeners know too as well. I went downstairs during the break, and I have 3 daughters. Everybody's leaving to go back east, and they're coming to be in your neighborhood. My middle daughter, 19, is holding an infant baby, and I almost didn't make it back for the last segment because I wasn't ready to see my daughter holding a baby that wasn't a baby.
It's not hers, right?
No. She's babysitting.
Okay. I was like, I didn't know about this. Time out.
Hold on. That's not even a 20-second timeout. We're stretch that thing out. That's a full
time. That's a coach's full time out. Yeah.
I'm going to go finish the segment with Wetzel, but I'll be back. We're going to find out who that baby is. But no, that's one of her friends. It's just weird as a dad. You see the kids in a lot of certain situations, and I literally froze. I was just going to get some water, and I was like, wow, okay, that's not your baby sister. What are you doing? Yeah, but babysitting, making money before she goes to college, like these kids earn. That's good. I was happy. So just put that out there. You ready to be a grandpap?
Future.
No.
Maybe.
Say it.
Maybe.
No, you're not.
Why not? Why not? What do I care?
I would have bet
that
that
the kid smoking cigars. As long as it's a boy, get him in make opposite picks. He'll make some picks for me. He'll pee. He'll pee on the betting pad.
Right.
Go Giants.